Today's episode is sponsored by WeCreat. How do you grab attention, boost your brand, or point someone towards the coldest drink in the galaxy? Easy. You make an epic sign. Signs come in all shapes, sizes, and styles. They guide, promote, and most importantly, they tell a story. And that got me thinking, what does a sign look like in a galaxy far, far away? I know, shocking, right? But in all seriousness, the signs in places like Galaxy's Edge are packed with character and world building. And it just so happens my Star Wars themed room build has a bar that's missing one key thing: its own custom sign. So today we're designing and building a Star Wars style bar sign. And to pull it off, we'll be using a brand new tool in the shop that's going to open some very exciting possibilities. So let's get into it. This is the WeCreat Vision Pro, a new 45-watt laser with a bucket full of awesomeness that I think you're going to want to see. If you've been around this channel for a while, you know how much I love using a laser in the shop. Whether it's a full-on room build, a prop project, or even tiny details, I always find myself gravitating towards the laser. Now, I know that some of the machines we've featured in the past can get a little expensive. Most of the time we're working with a CO2 laser, and that tech definitely bumps up the price tag. But there's another kind of laser out there, the diode laser. I'll be real with you, I've avoided diode lasers in the past. I've tested several, and you've never seen them on the channel because, well, they didn't live up or deliver on the performance that I felt good enough to recommend. But then this showed up. The WeCreat Vision Pro has completely changed my mind on what the capabilities of a diode laser are. Yes, this one's marketed as a 45-watt diode laser, but thanks to their beam focus optical system, it's advertised to cut more like a 60-watt machine. Now that might sound like marketing speech, and yeah, I got it straight from their website, but here's the thing. It's true.
It's true. All of it.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we dive into the full build, let me show you just some of the cool things that you can do with this machine, because I think you're going to be as impressed as I am. I started simple, with engraving. Now, normally with CO2 lasers, I avoid engraving like the plague. Why? Because it's slow. Painfully slow. But with the WeCreat Vision Pro, I was genuinely surprised. The engraving speed was faster than I expected, and that opens up a lot of new possibilities. Not just for my shop, but also maybe for yours. First off, I can see this allowing to expand the types of products we offer on our website. Things we avoided before simply because engraving took too long and it didn't make it worth it. Now, I can add intricate details to projects as well without dreading the time it takes to finish. And after just a bit of testing, I was able to turn out a variety of products fast. With a little more time with this machine, I'm confident I could batch out custom pieces that have that extra personal flair without such a huge time investment. Now, don't get me wrong. The machine and those types of products are cool, but what really gets me excited is what we can make with this. To kick things off, I grabbed some cardstock and let the Vision Pro do its thing. Right away, two things stood out. Number one, it cuts like butter. Number two, it did it fast. That's a huge win when you're prototyping. I started slow, then I bumped up the speed, dialing in the perfect power to speed ratio. Now I can throw in some inexpensive cardstock and quickly mock up ideas before moving on to materials like acrylic. Speaking of which, before we dive into today's main material concern, there's something unique about the way this machine handles its laser focus. In most machines I've used, the laser head moves up and down to match the material height and get the distance correct. That can get tricky with larger or thicker materials. But with the WeCreat Vision Pro, the entire machine adjusts automatically. Combined with its onboard camera and the software, you get accurate focusing without having to buy additional risers and accessories that you would with other machines. That gives you more flexibility with working with bigger and awkwardly shaped pieces right out of the box. And since we're talking software, WeCreat includes their own called Make It. It's intuitive, easy to navigate, and surprisingly feature-rich. But here's what really sold me: full integration with Lightburn. If you've ever used a laser, you know Lightburn is the gold standard. Having that compatibility to me was a huge win. Now, I'm not getting too far in the weeds here. We've got more videos coming on this machine and projects we're building with it, but one more thing I do have to mention is the air filter system. Laser cutting can create some serious fumes, depending on your material, and with the WeCreat air filter, it's been incredible. I've run tons of projects indoors on this setup, and I've had zero fume issues. That gives me real confidence that this machine could be safely used in your home environment. All right, let's talk about the big one. The deal breaker for me as a room builder, a prop maker that uses his body weight in acrylic is, can it cut acrylic? And yes, it can. I ran the Vision Pro on my go-to black matte acrylic for today's project, and it handled it perfectly. No issues, no failures. But here's the bonus. It also cut white acrylic, which I honestly didn't expect it to manage. Now here's why this is a win. Diode lasers, by nature, struggle with clear and transparent acrylic. The light passes through without being absorbed, making cuts almost impossible. That goes for clear, light blues, some reds, and so on. But the white acrylic that I'm using is opaque enough to absorb the laser, yet translucent enough to let the light shine through the work the way we wanted. That's a big deal if you're working with light panels or layered effects. Sorry to get nerdy deep dive, and I fully realize there is more to diodes versus clear acrylic than I've talked about, but I think it's important to know the strengths and limitations of diode lasers compared to CO2 if you're thinking about getting a laser. One final note, yes, cutting with the diode laser on acrylic is way slower than CO2. It's roughly half the speed, in fact. But here's the trade-off. The Vision Pro costs about half as much as some of the other CO2 laser setups that I have. And with everything it can do, that's a pretty compelling case for makers, DIYers, and builders who want serious capability at more of an approachable price point. Okay, we interrupt this program with a complete mind change and an additional waste of material. Sort of. You just saw me spray painting the frame and this guy. However, once I sprayed it, I realized what I really want to do is I want to light up the fat bantha. So you can see this is a brand new cut here where I've actually cut the shapes out. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut out some white opaque acrylic so that we can set that in behind, and then when we illuminate this from the back, we'll get a glow. So that being said, now I'm going to be able to take the frame, give a little white background, and then raise our bantha right off the front of it, and that should give this a really unique look. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this black. Then we also have some white acrylic that will pop in here behind these patterns. And this way, when we put the lighting inside the sign, we'll get a cool light. Okay, so yes, I wasted a little material. I'm okay with that. This is pretty cool. And I got to cut something I didn't actually think would. Let's get back in this. Honestly, I'm blown away by what this machine can do. From crisp engravings to clean acrylic cuts, the WeCreat Vision Pro definitely earned its place in this shop. If you're as excited about this as I am and the possibilities, be sure to check out the links below. We've got projects coming with this machine real soon, and we'd love for you to check this out. Thanks for hanging out with us in the Smuggler's Room, and until next time, keep building something out of nothing.